We're pleased with where we're at right now, and after just a few practices, it was good to get in shoulder pads today, give our players a chance to be involved in real football. It's always nice to do that. Got a number of young players that are showing signs of having an opportunity to play as freshmen, and then we've got a group of mature guys and veteran guys that are performing well at this time. Particularly Kendall Hunter's having a good camp, and defensively Hugo Chinasa has done well in the first few days. I like where we're at with Ori Lemon. He's moving around well. Safeties, Markel and Johnny, those guys are performing like we would have anticipated. And I thought Quinn's done a nice job hunting the ball. Dan Bailey's kicking the ball well, so we're kind of where we need to be. Obviously, it's very early, but it's good to get out there this morning and had a little bit of heat and had a good 2 hour and 15-minute workout. Just looking forward to moving forward. Get back out there tomorrow.
I know the shoulder pads just came on this morning, but do you have a pretty good feel or expectation for how good your team will be physically or how physical they'll be?
Not really. In comparison to last year, when we had enough returning players that we had a good idea of what those guys would do on game day. There's enough young guys out there that we're 2 weeks away from having a feel for where they'll be and how they'll hold up when it gets physical.
With so many new guys, Mike, on defense, do you think Bill Young can at least keep it sustained at the level that it was, the defense was last year?
Well, I think that the level that we want him to sustain is the information that these guys can gather, and we want them to perform at the highest level that they can. And whether Joe Mitchell can perform at the same level of Andre Sexton early in his career is probably not going to happen. But we want Joe Mitchell to perform at the highest level he can where he's at in his career. So I think Coach Young will tell you that he expects him to play very well. We expect him to be in the right place and to tackle and play with great effort. But from an experience standpoint, they're not going to be able to take over where those guys were that just left here.
Mike, is this season a test for your program as far as the rebuilding process or the building process?
Well, I've been asked that question a lot, and I think for me to say that we're not rebuilding wouldn't be fair, because we've got a number of guys that are going to play that haven't competed at this level, and there's not a lot of experience out there. We would like to be in a situation or a position someday where we start each year with a number of players that will be in the rotation that have experience. And so, of course, you guys have heard me say this, when you lose guys, a number of players that have started 3 years, then they're not going to be here forever. So we're rolling some new guys in. But I think we're more athletic and we have more speed than we've had in a number of years. We just don't have as much experience.
You kind of mentioned a couple of things there. Rob Glass was telling me the first day of practice, and actually one of his assistants said that Rob squeezed as much into these guys in 11 weeks over the summer that he possibly could. Are you pretty happy with those areas? I mean, that's not an experience area. That's just explosion and athleticism.
I think we're further ahead now than we were 4 years ago when we were in a similar situation, just because we have so many new guys that were playing then in a system that was new to them, new to those guys. So we're excited about that. Coach pushed them really hard this summer. We wanted to make sure that we instilled the toughness in them that we've had for a number of years here, and we still believe that you have to be a tough football team, both mentally and physically, no matter how experienced you are. And so we like the guys that we have in the program, and we expect them to play well, and we hope they play well early.
Coach, you talked about Tracy Moore, how he's changed physically, and about his position, what you expect of him this year.
Well, obviously Tracy will have an opportunity to catch more passes with what we're doing on offense now, and he's 15, 20 pounds lighter. Looks good running around out there. And Tracy needs to stay hungry. It's a term we use quite a bit in our program, meaning that when he came in last year as a true freshman, every day he worked to earn a spot. And sometimes when a player competes early in their career, you worry about them not practicing as hard as they should. And so he needs to continue to sustain a high level of practice, of intensity, and work hard and be a good leader. That's what the really good players do. And he's got enough ability to do that. And so that's what we've talked to him about throughout the summer and early part of practice was working really hard, like he had to fight for a job every day.
Mike, can you kind of take us back to when you heard from Brandon as far as him wanting to leave baseball and come back and play college football? How did that whole situation come about?
Well, we were contacted by people in Edmond that are friends of the program that said that he was interested in playing football at Oklahoma State. Can't remember if he had just finished baseball or he was close to finishing baseball, and would we be interested? And we said that he needed to come up and sit down and talk with us, and we'd certainly like him to be a part and see where it goes from there. And I can remember him coming up and spending some time with us. But you get in that situation at times with guys that have tried professional baseball, and it's a very low percentage of the ones that actually make it. So you never put a lot of stock into it. But from the day that he showed up, he was always here and he would train and all that. I'm not sure he was into it mentally. In fact, I know he wasn't for a couple of years. But obviously, we're glad it worked out now.
Do you remember watching him at Santa Fe? Did you evaluate him and watch him in high school?
I remember going there and watching him, and I think it was coaching there. Dan was the coach there, and saying that he was going to be a professional baseball player, and he had his number was high enough that he was going to go early in the draft. And so we watched him and evaluated him, but didn't really grade him, just from the standpoint that it was pretty obvious that he was going to sign and play baseball.
Mike, when you said the low percentage of them make it, you looked at some figures on that, or?
No, I don't.
Because Morrissey made it for you.
Yeah, that's why I didn't throw out a number. But we hear of a lot of guys that are interested in stopping minor league baseball and playing college football. And very few of them make it, the guys that we've been familiar with either here or at other places. And we've had a few guys, other than Brandon, in the last, I guess it's been 3 years now. I can't remember their names, but they didn't stick around very long. And some of those guys were college baseball players that came over and tried to take a shot at football, and they didn't make it. So we're pleased that Brandon stuck with it and has gotten to this point.
Talk about Brandon's development so far this fall, coach, and then the 2 young freshmen behind him.
Well, he's only been out there, just a few days, and we thought he made really good strides from the spring. He's worked hard on his own in the summer. Has shown good leadership qualities, and I think every day that he practices, he's still in a position where he gathers a lot of information because it's also new to him. And then we've got a couple of young guys behind him that have a long way to go. I mean, they're just young guys that are out there, and they're giving us good effort, but they've got a ways to go.
Mike, speaking of young guys, can you talk about some of the freshmen that have a chance to make an impact on this program?
Well, there'll be a number of guys that are here for the first time that'll be on the field early this year. It's really too early to get names out. We've only been in shoulder pads for 1 day. I'll have a much better feel in a couple weeks. But we like 4 or 5 guys on each side of the ball right now that are showing signs of being able to handle what we're trying to accomplish mentally and held up today physically. And that's always a test. 7 days from now, are they still practicing and are they healthy? And can they hold up and get lined up and be in the right place most of the time? And if that happens, they'll get a chance to play. But I would anticipate 8 or 10 of those guys playing early in the season.
I know you tend to let Joe Wickline kind of do his thing over there, but he seems pretty revved up for a guy that's having to fill 4 new spots over there, and he's got 5 guys in NFL camps. he seems like a guy who's pretty happy about his work.
Well, I think he likes the players that he has. I think he likes their work ethic, their demeanor. I think he likes their athleticism. Joe's coached a long time, and he has a good feel for how much pressure and how hard to push these young guys. And I think he knows how to handle them. He's aware that they're going to make mistakes, but he knows that they'll continue to get better and they'll work hard. And from this point on, all throughout the season, they'll continue to get better each day.
Mike, you mentioned Weeden not being totally into it mentally. Once he did fully engage, I'm guessing in spring or whatever, did you notice a huge jump for him?
Mm-hmm. Sure did. Just from a practice standpoint and the way he carried himself. And unfortunately, sometimes that happens at the quarterback position, especially when he's behind a guy that was as good a player as Zach was, because you really don't think you're ever going to get in the game unless you get hurt, or unless he gets hurt, I should say. And so we saw a considerable difference in January when he knew that he had a chance to be the starting quarterback, and he's handled himself very well.
So have you gone from hoping he can effectively quarterback you to expecting it? I mean, you have
Well, we expect it. Again, we don't have any references other than what his work ethic and his attitude's been. He's going to have to go out there and make plays on the field. He's only played 2 quarters. That's all he's done. But we like what we see up to this point.
What's the transition been like with this new offense and with the new offensive coordinator, Dana Holgorsen?
Well, I think it's gone very well. I was pleased halfway through spring ball. I had prepared myself for some chaotic practices. I know what it looked like and how it was when we put the new system in when I brought Coach Fedora in here. It took us a year and a half to pick that system up and really execute it the way we liked, and we were comfortable with it. And I feel good about where we're at. We've still got a long ways to go in the system, but I'm pleased with the way the players have picked it up, and the way they've held themselves accountable for being lined up in the right spot and executing whatever play it may be. And I think Coach Holgorsen's done a good job with the staff, and I think the staff's done a good job of buying into the system, which is a big part of it, because the players get a feel for the coaches. They can tell if the coaches are all in, and when they are, which is the most important part of bringing an offense or a defense along, then they're going to buy in and they're going to do whatever it takes for those guys, for them to have success individually and then obviously as an offense.
Mike, what do you like about the offense, as far as on the field? I know you said in Dallas, I guess that you feel like you can recruit to it.
Mm-hmm.
What about this offense do you like as far as just attacking offense?
Well, I think it's versatile. I think we can do several things based on the personality and the talent that we have. We play fast. I like that. I think it brings an exciting brand of football. And I think there's areas that Coach Holgorsen and I think that we can change certain things or make adjustments to make it even better. And the system's good. I mean, the system is proven itself to be effective. And now we have to fit it into Oklahoma State. And I think Coach Holgorsen's aware of that. And the most important thing for an offensive staff is to be able to get the ball in the hands of the players that can make plays. And so from what I know about it, it allows us to do that.
Did you already view it as a real solid football offense, or did you view it as kind of a tricked up thing before he got here and you saw it up close?
Well, I wouldn't use personally. I wouldn't say a tricked up offense. It's a different system, but I think it's proven effective and it's solid. And just from what little that I know about it at this point, over a period of time, I think it gets better and better because the players get a feel and understand how it works. Very similar to the system that we just used. So the more they do it, they understand it. And then as you put speed and guys that have the ability to make people miss in space into the system, it makes it that much better.
So when you say you want to give it an OSU flavor, are you saying that because you're so deep in the backfield here, you